When you're sitting at the dinner table and you're staring at the carcass of the poor dead turkey everyone's gawking at? You'll be glad you watched this video. Hi everyone, Bailey here, and I'm going to give you my 5 tips on how to survive a non-vegan holiday feast. Let's just jump right into it. Tip number 1 is to bring some of your own food. Now, not only do you not want to be the vegan who goes to a holiday feast and has nothing to eat, and so perpetuates this stereotype that vegans don't eat any food, because obviously we eat just as much delicious food as non-vegans, but you want to have enough for yourself to eat and have a full feast because it's also your day of feasting, but you also want to bring enough for some people that might be curious about your food to try. Many times non-vegans, and myself before I went vegan, you see a big dish of something that looks familiar and it smells great and you want to try that dish, and then you try it with this preconceived notion that maybe vegan food tastes like grass or cardboard, and you eat it and you realize that all of these same flavors taste familiar and they taste delicious, and it breaks down barriers and it plants seeds for non-vegans to have more vegan meals in the future and to maybe even go vegan themselves one day. Tip number 2 is to talk to the host before the event. Let them know that you are vegan and ask about the menu. There's nothing more awkward than going to someone's house that does not know you're vegan. They prepare this whole dinner. They want you to partake in the dinner and you tell them right then and there, "Oh, I'm vegan." It's totally fine to do, but if you want to avoid that awkwardness and maybe the host not feeling so great and not having such a good idea of veganism because of that experience, then you want to just let them know beforehand, "Hey, thank you so much for inviting me. Just to let you know, I'm vegan, and so I'm probably going to just bring a couple of my own dishes, but I'm really happy to get to spend the day with you." So that way they know, oh, this person's vegan, therefore they're definitely not going to be partaking in some of the dishes that I'm having, and I won't be offended. Maybe other people won't know, that's fine, but the host is the one that's there to accommodate you. Also, if you do that, they might want to surprise you or make a dish that's vegan to accommodate you. I've been to things where a host has found out that I'm vegan. I didn't ask them to make me an extra dish, but because they wanted to be nice and extra accommodating because they like me, they made like a vegan zucchini bread or a vegan something else because they wanted to accommodate me. And that's always been a really kind thing, but it's also opened them up to, hey, this actually was not that hard to make. It is really delicious. So it plants seeds in their mind. Also, ask about what's on the menu. What are people bringing? Maybe someone's bringing roasted veggies and they make their roasted veggies in oil and also not in the same pan as the turkey. You can have that. But if they're making roasted veggies with butter, ask them, "Hey, do you think maybe you would want to try making it in oil, which is healthier for you? And then I can partake in some." Or if they're making it in the same pan as the turkey, "Hey, could you maybe make it on a separate pan as the turkey? Or maybe even just make like some of the veggies on a different pan than the turkey? And that way you'll be able to have some." Also, if someone is bringing a salad, maybe you can ask, "Hey, can you make sure that any dressing or cheese or egg or bacon, just basically any animal products, are just on the side? Then I can have a salad without it." And you just make sure you have like a vinaigrette or something with you. If you ask people to make these small accommodations, a lot of times they're willing. But if they're not willing, be kind and just say, "Okay, no problem." Don't make veganism look hard. Make veganism look appealing and as easy as it actually is, because it's really not that hard. Tip number 3 is to ask the host to cut the poor animal's body away from the table. Maybe it's going to be a turkey, or it's going to be a pig, or it's going to be a cow, or a goose, or a duck, or a chicken, or whatever it is. Ask them if they could maybe not have it as the centerpiece, if maybe they could just cut it in the kitchen and they could have the platter of the dead body parts for other people to get, because it will really help you if you're not sitting there and it's right there in front of you the entire time that you're trying to eat. Just let them nicely know that, hey, I'm really sensitive to animal suffering because of all the videos that I've witnessed. It will plant a seed in their mind about the animal suffering that went into the being that they have there that day. And it'll also help you to not have to see it the entire time. It'll be some cognitive dissonance. Now, of course, you're going to be sitting next to people who have plates full of these dead animal body parts, but they won't quite be, it'll be easier to not look at their plate than it would be to not see and look at the center of the table the entire time. Ideally, there wouldn't be a dead being at your holiday feast that's dedicated to love and gratitude and family and togetherness. But unfortunately, if you are going to a non-vegan holiday feast, there will be a dead being, and cognitive dissonance can go a long way into helping you feel sane. Tip number 4 is to keep snide comments to a minimum. Now, the reason I say this is because first, you want to try to remember where you once were before you went vegan. And second, you want to make veganism approachable and appealing to people who aren't vegan. Now, try to think back to when you weren't vegan. You were probably chomping on many of the same animals that you see your friends and family eating. Try to have compassion on where they are in their vegan journey. Maybe they haven't started yet. Maybe they are where you were years ago. Does that make you better than them? Of course not. We are all on our own journey, and people who are vegan now are no better than people who aren't vegan, just like people who were vegan 10 years before you were aren't better than you are now. We are all on our own journey, and people have just opened themselves up to compassion at a different time. Most people have compassion to animals. They're just closed off because of tradition and familiarity, and they're scared about trying to be vegan. And if you come at them with these snide, mean comments and make them look or feel stupid, then they're going to close themselves off even more. But if you come at them with the love and compassion that you would want someone to come at you with before you were vegan, it'll make them that much more open to trying it. Even people that you're like, that person has no compassion on animals, it could be buried really deep inside. Or maybe you're like, that person is just cruel and hates animals. They still deserve your compassion, because your compassion isn't contingent on who they are as a person. It's contingent on who you are as a person. Now, that's not to say that if you are just being harassed by a family member or a friend who's just constantly bullying you about your veganism and trying to make you feel bad, that you have to sit there and take it. You can say, hey, it's really not cool what you're saying to me, and you can politely excuse yourself and go to the restroom, or go on a walk, or go play with your nieces and nephews, or go watch some football. You don't have to sit there and take harassment. You can get yourself to a safe, emotional, and physical situation. Tip number 5 is to start new holiday traditions. Maybe consider having a vegan potluck Friendsgiving, or going to an animal sanctuary around the holiday or on the holiday and getting to see all the animals who've been saved and rescued, or make a donation to an animal sanctuary or animal nonprofit. Or if you have no money, just go on YouTube and watch some videos of animals who've been rescued, and it'll give you some hope for the animals in this world. Being the lone vegan at a non-vegan holiday feast can feel so lonely, but if you make new holiday traditions, even if you have the day and you're the only vegan on that day, but around that day you did all these other holiday traditions and you had family and friends connected in those traditions, it can feel much more uniting and way less lonely. So this year, when you're at your family's non-vegan holiday feast, remember that you are not alone. There are many people like myself who think like you do, And rest assured, we are working and fighting to save the lives of animals. If you would like to join my vegan community, click that big red subscribe button, follow me on social media, and I'll see you next time.